Hey guys, it's Kaz here and happy World Book Day. But also probably not now you're watching this, because that's today. And I very much doubt I'm going to do all this and get it edited and uploaded today. But yes, today is World Book Day. So I have, hopefully, a good vlog. So I picked up most of the World Book Day books that are available in England. I didn't pick up the super young ones, and there was one random Spider-Man one that I didn't pick up, but all of the other ones I did. So if somehow you're unfamiliar with World Book Day, it's this whole thing about getting kids to read, and they hand out millions and millions of vouchers every year to kids at school. And each one of these books are either £1 or you can hand your voucher over and you get it for free. So it's just like getting kids to read. And there was a statistic, I don't know what year they did it, but it was like 1 in 7 kids that they asked said it was the first book that they'd ever owned. And then that went up to 1 in 5 for kids that were on free school meals. So obviously the poorer you are, the less likely you're going to be to have all the fun stuff. So yeah, it's a really cool thing. It's a great time. My first World Book Day book that I own is, let me go and get it, Koya-san by Darren Chan. This was World Book Day 2006. So yes, that's the oldest one I have. And I do have another one somewhere which was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder related, but I thought this year they all seemed like they were quite fun, and there's a nice selection as well. We've got some non-fiction, we've got some fantasy, we've got some contemporary. So yes, it's about midday now, it's probably past that. It's 20 past 12. I was at work earlier on, but I'm gonna grab some food and I'm gonna pick a book and we're gonna get started. Just for an added little bonus, I wrote down all the book names here. I'm just gonna pick one at random, and then I don't even know what order I'm gonna read them in either. So our first read of today is going to be this one, and that is Kay's Brain. So it's Kay's Brilliant Brains by Adam Kay, and I'm sure most people watching this know Adam Kay. They've read his books. He's a doctor, well, he was a doctor and did all the medical non-fictiony stuff that was funny but also sad at the same time. And now this is going to be talking about a bunch of different people that have brilliant brains, I guess. So yeah, let's crack on, but also food first because I am hungry. So I'm just under 50 pages in now. I was reading it while I was making food, but now I'm about to actually eat food. But it's really interesting. I'm really enjoying it because there are some really obvious people, like obviously Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison. Of course they're going to be in here. But then there's like other ones. So the ones I'm reading right at the moment is Maria Talkes, and she was doing a bunch of stuff with solar power in her own sort of way, born in 1900. So it's like, why is it not such a big thing right now? Why is solar power not a big thing right now, especially because of how expensive everything is? I'm sure you all know how stupidly expensive it is to buy gas and heat your home and all that jazz. And this woman was born in 1900, and she was doing all this crazy stuff, and she invented a house that could heat itself for the whole year for free because it kept all the heat in the summer and then it let the heat out in the winter. How are people inventing this stuff that long ago and it's not a big thing right now? You know what I mean? And then we've also had Greta Thunberg, of course, so it's nice to have a more recent one as well, rather than just like older people who invented stuff. And another one was Ada Lovelace, Ada Lovelace, who did a bunch of stuff with computer programming, which is also something that I didn't really know about. So it's cool because obviously, like I say, Edison and Einstein, the obvious ones that you're going to expect in here, but it's really cool that there's some that even I don't know about, so I'm actually learning stuff, so win. But I'm going to finish this chapter on this Mariah woman, and then I'm going to actually eat my food. I don't know. All I know is I have a wonderful brain. I do still have, I do still have some stuff. So I'm finished with the first book and I actually really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to be giving it 4 stars because, like I mentioned earlier, the fact that there were people in here that even I'd never really heard of is such a cool thing because kids are learning about stuff. One of the people that I'd actually never heard of, because everybody else I sort of had a little inkling of who they were, was Janaki Amal, I think is how you pronounce her name. But she was an Indian botanist, and she did a bunch of stuff with botany and splicing the plants together to make other plants. So apparently the sugar was a bit shit in India and they had to import loads and it was really expensive. So then she made a new strand of sugar that was sweet, so they could make all the stuff sweet that needs to be sweet. And then did other stuff with aubergines. And yeah, it was just really cool because I literally never even heard of that. So actually learning stuff. And this is a middle grade and I'm not middle or grade. But even I'm still learning stuff. So I'm gonna go and grab my pot and we'll find out what the next book is. So here we are, gonna give it a twisty wisty wisty. I'm gonna get this one. And the next read is Boot It, which I believe is a contemporary about football, and the cover says something about racism in football. So I'm just over halfway through Boot It, and this is told from two different characters. We have Ali and Sammy, and they have, each chapter is from their point of view, one or the other, and it's just about being in this football team at this school. Ali, from what I can gather, we don't have like all the information, but I think Ali was probably born in England, but he is, I don't know like where his family originated from, but I do know that he is a person of colour. And then Sammy, the other character, is a refugee from Syria, and it's about them and the football team. And then obviously, like I mentioned, it's about racism. At the bottom it says, when there's racism on the pitch, who's going to step up and boot it out? So pretty much straight away when we get into the football stuff, there's this one Ute who's just being a dickhead and saying loads of racist stuff to them, and also this other character, Elijah. There's a lot of references to monkeys and bananas because Elijah's black. So at the point where I'm at, they've just told the coach and he's just like, oh, boys will be boys, it's fine, just ignore them. So I think now we're going to get into them being like, no, we're not just going to ignore them. We need to do something about this. Which is good because it's realistic that when you tell authorities nothing happens, but then it's also going to be pushing through and saying no, this is wrong. And it also mentioned the what's it called, stomp out racism or whatever, like the real actual thing. I know there's a website and it's like a campaign to stomp out racism in football, so they mentioned that in here as well, which is cool because it's like a proper actual resource that people can go and have a look at. So yeah, I'm gonna carry on this, probably finish it very soon. I did say that it was like the thickest book here, but the pages are really, I was gonna say thin, it's not the pages, the words are really big, so it's a really quick read, this one. That is the next book complete. So yes, I very much enjoyed this one as well. I will also be giving this a 4 stars. Also, I forgot to mention that the Adam Kay one's funny. I mean, obviously it is, it's Adam Kay. But yes, I enjoyed this one. We obviously got the resolution that I mentioned earlier was probably gonna came in a good way. Also, the character Sammy is the same character who is in Boy Everywhere by this author, which I didn't realise until I saw at the back it mentioned that. It's like, oh, read the first chapter in Sammy's book. So that's cool because obviously, like, either last year or the year before, they did the Good Girls Guide to Murder World Book Day book, which had the characters in, and I knew that some of these books definitely look like they're part of series, but it's good to know that you can read it without having read any of the series and still enjoy it. So hopefully that'll be the same for like the Dragon Realm one, that looks like it's in a series, and maybe the Lenny Henry one as well, I'm not sure. But yes, I enjoyed it. I also thought it was cool because there were other sort of elements in here. So obviously Sam is from Syria and this is a football thing, and it talks a little bit, I don't know if it goes into it more, well it probably definitely does go into it more in depth in his book Boy Everywhere because it's about his story, but how his parents or just his mum and his sister were in this mall in Syria trying to get him some football boots when it was bombed, and then that's the reason that they came to England. So he has like these mixed feelings about the football having this different trauma attached to it. So I thought that was a pretty interesting inclusion. And there's also a character called Grace who talks about women's football as well, which is good because football stories, football on the TV is very heavily the men's football. But I mean, in England our teams are sick, to be honest, the ladies football. So yeah, Grace talks about women's football and talks about Alex Scott, who is or was one of our players. So I thought that was really cool as well to include that, to like hype up not just the men football but the women football as well. So yes, what book are we going to read next? I should probably go and get my jar. Here's my jar, give it a little wiggle. There's only 5 things in here, so I can't give it too much of a wiggle. And the next book we're going to read is Being an Ally. So this is the other non-fiction in the World Book Day selection, and I think it's choice cuts from the actual book Allies, this one, like a smaller version of it. But when I was looking into all the different authors, because there are a lot of people in here I've never heard of, it does have a lot of BIPOC authors, but there's also a neurodiverse author in here as well, so it's going to be talking about being an ally in different ways, hopefully. And yeah, let's give it a go. This one is probably going to be like the most adult. I mean, look at the different size in writing here compared to the last one. So there's going to be a lot more in here, but it's still also written in a way that can engage younger people. So yeah. Also, I think I should probably film a video because it's the 2nd of March and I've still not done my TBR for this month or my haul from last month. So maybe I'll read a part of this and then film one or both of those videos. We shall see. So I just thought I'd drop in because the second essay in here by Lizzie Huxley-Jones, Dismantling Judgment, I really enjoyed that essay. It was about quiet or silent disabilities, ones that are not often seen so you can't tell. She has 2 different types of seizures and she's talking about the different reactions, like if it's a seizure that makes you fall to the ground then people are quick to react, but if it's a seizure where it's more internal, people just look at you and think, oh, what's wrong with them, or oh, they're a bit weird, and won't help. And it was just really interesting. So yeah, definitely a great choice. I don't know, maybe pick up Allies, like the full book, or pick up this, it's only £1. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And the next one is by Shakira Bourne and it's called Travel Logs of a Black Caribbean Woman Embracing the Glitches. So I'm not sure what's going to be going on about this, but obviously I do know that for travelling, when black especially is a big problem because so many countries are so outwardly racist, and like people have to look into where they're going to make sure that they're actually not going to be abused there. So yes, that one's next, but maybe I'll film a video now and then carry on with this. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I've read 2 of the essays. Definitely a great book. So I read that next essay, another absolutely interesting, really brilliantly written essay. The one I mentioned earlier about the travel logs of a Black Caribbean woman. Yeah, absolutely great. And then there was a little comic after that by another author about stuttering. So it's really great how diverse this is, because I feel like something like stuttering isn't talked about often, even though it is quite a common thing that people have, that people degrade others about. That's not the right word. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of right now, but you know what I mean. It's something that people use as a negative, but you know what I mean. It's like something that people pick on, I think. Discriminate against, that's the word. Yes. So it was really interesting to see a comic about stuttering in there. But yeah, really enjoying this so far. I think I'm going to edit the video that I just filmed, because just before, well, halfway through reading that essay, I filmed my February haul. So I think I'm going to edit that now, just so I'm not just sat reading the whole day. You know, try and mix it up a little bit. Edit that, upload it today as well, and then carry on with this. Still have a few cheeky pancakes from pancake day. No whipped cream left though, so rude. So I finished Being an Ally. I only had a little bit left, and honestly it was so good. Quite possibly, yeah, you know what I think it is? It's my first 5-star of this year, which might sound weird to some people because some people give out loads, but I don't. So yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed all of the essays. I thought they were all interesting. I loved how diverse it was as well, because a lot of the time when you would see this sort of thing, you would think it would just be specifically about race or specifically about like sexuality or something, but it was really great how they put in other things as well that don't get talked about as much, like disability, hidden disabilities, like this little stutter, I was going to say poem, which is not the right word, comic, and obviously that's just a select few from the actual book, so I'm sure it goes into even more different diverse things and topics and stuff. Talking about diverse though, I really enjoy this year's selection of books because I do think it's really diverse. So most of the books are written by BIPOC authors. We also have this one that I've not got to yet, is written by a non-binary author, and yeah, I just think it's really cool how diverse it is and that they're showing these different stories. And it would be so easy to publish something like this and then not take that into consideration and then all the other books be white for World Book Day, but they're not. So yeah, I really like the selection. Talking about selection though, guess what time it is? It's time to select our next book. And every single time I do this, it's really hard to do with one hand, but we move anyway. I'll tell you why it's hard, because they're on post-it notes, so half of it's stuck down, so I have to get in that and unstick it. So the next book is going to be The Dragon Realm 1. Boom! A nice little bit of fantasy, our first dive into fantasy so far. We've had the two non-fiction ones and the contemporary come up. So yeah, the next 4 books are all the more fantastical ones, so I'm sure it's going to be a fun time. Well, it had to happen at some point. I'm only 9 pages into this one, and I'm not really enjoying it so far. I don't know whether it's written like this and this is how all the books are written, or whether it's because this is set in a certain world that like this whole 9 pages have just been explaining what I'm guessing is stuff that's happened in the other books. And it just feels so unnecessary. Just get into the action. We don't need to know all the stuff about all the stuff. Like, let me give you an example. Billy and Jordan had met not long ago when Jordan followed his scientist mother into the Dragon Realm. Professor Edwards had been working for a top-secret organisation called Turbo, and when she'd found out that her unscrupulous boss, Frank Albert, had entered the Dragon Realm and was using magical properties found in it for evil, she went to stop him. But by the time they located him, Frank had already acquired the Sanguium Gladio, the legendary bloodsword, that could cut through anything, including between realms. It's like, bro, we don't need a whole explanation of stuff that's happened in the past that's literally got nothing to do with what's happening now. I'm not enjoying that. I'm hoping that after this chapter, this is the second chapter, they'll spew is it going to be all 5 of these books? Spew all 5 of these books out in the next few chapters and then get into this story, and hopefully I'll enjoy it more. Also, outfit change because it's later and it's colder, and this is the best thing I've ever got. Guys, let me just. Not only is this fluffy, it goes all the way down to my ankles. The best thing ever. It's only a few pages later, but they're even spending time telling us about characters that are not even in this book. Like, there's 3 kids doing the riding on the dragons, but not long ago there were 6 of them, so I'm guessing at some point in this book series they found other people and they told us about them 3, and then but they're not there, they're off doing other dragon saving stuff. And then now that we're talking about all the powers that the dragons have got, and then the kids have got powers as well, so they told us all about the other powers. And then it's telling us about these 3 characters that are not even in this book's powers. It's like, bro, we don't need to know that in this book. You're just wasting time. And it's boring and nothing's happened yet. It's got a freaking dragon on the cover. It should be fun. Okay. I'm going to carry on. Also, there's a cat there. So, yeah. I'm sorry, I can't. It's literally the next page, and I just need to say this. I know this is for kids and middle grades, but surely that means it should be more engaging. But the next chapter after the bit that was talking about the characters are not even here, it says, Billy had battled a scorpion before in the frozen wasteland of the Dragon Realm, though that one had been merely man-sized, not bus-sized. Lingfei must have remembered, because as Zing flew close to Spark, she called out, "This should be easy, Billy, you've done it before." Like, bro, you don't need to tell us he's done it before and then another character say, "You've done it before." Okay guys, so to be fair, once we got past that first sort of 13 to 14 pages, it wasn't too bad. I give it a 3 stars, it wasn't the best. It was fine, but yeah, those first, at least the first 10 pages dragged so much. It was so unnecessary to give us like the lowdown of everything that had happened in, what I'm guessing is these other 5 books, or at least at least 1 or 2 of them. It just felt so unnecessary. That's the only problem with this sort of little novella type things that's based in a series. It's like, how much of the series information do you need to give? How much do you not need to give? And I feel like there was way too much in here that was not necessary, and it made it drag so much the first little bit. But after that, it was fine. It was a story about having to go and collect something from a place. Not much happened. They went there and then they collected the thing, and then yeah, it's the end pretty much. It was fine. But let's pick the next book, and hopefully this is the worst of the bunch, because then that means the only way is up. Wasn't horrific, wasn't terrible, but wasn't good either. It was fine. So our jar is looking very empty. We only have 3 more books in here, so let's pick this one up. So our next read is Boy with Wings. That's not what it's called. It's got more words of that, but it's the one with the boy with the wings. Lenny Henry, The Boy with Wings, Attack of the Rampaging Robot. Let's get into it. So with this one, this is how making a story that's part of a series but also a one-shot, this is how it's supposed to be done. Because a few times in here towards the beginning, they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, remember that time we did the thing?" Or, "I can't go back to my home because this thing destroyed it." And I don't know 100%, but I'm guessing that those are things that happened in the first book. And it was just casually put in there. It wasn't like absolutely bombarded at you like that other book for 15 pages. So this is definitely more easier to digest for people that haven't actually read the series. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, that stuff probably happened, but I don't need to know right now." So yeah, I enjoyed this one. It was fun. I definitely think I started off the day with a bang though, and all the starting ones were my favourites so far. This was definitely better than the last one I read though. It was a good time, and I only have 2 left, so let's pick the penultimate, that's not how you say words, penultimate choice. So we have my thing. Is there any point in shaking it up? There's only 2 things in here. We have here, do my little one-handed opening. So the next one is going to be the Strange Worlds book. That's this one, The Strange Worlds Travel Agency, Adventure in the Floating Mountains by L.D. Lipinski. And then we're going to round off this whole thing with Dave Pigeon, which just sounds like it's going to be silly fun. So let's get this one read. Okay, so didn't quite manage the one day. I felt really tired last night, so I went to bed. I say last night, it was about 1:30 in the morning. But I am currently reading this, and also the fact that it's coming to a different day means you get to see a few clips of our fun escapee. It wasn't even really escapee. Case files. We did some fun times anyway. Here's some clips. But yeah, we did a space one, which is really cool. I didn't take any videos of that straight away because I forgot, I didn't even think about it. But we took all the bits of paper and stuck them all around the room, and it was really fun because that's what it said on the back. And you go around and try and figure out all the different stuff. And then the second one we did was a case file. Someone got murdered, and you have to figure out who the suspect was and who did it. They were both really, really good. Had a really fun time, and I have read a little bit of this, but I'm going to carry this book on right now and finish it and then read the last book, which is the Dave Pigeon one. So yeah, I am enjoying this so far. It's quite a short one, even compared to these. So yes, I will update you very shortly. So the Strange Worlds Travel Agency Adventure in the Floating Mountains is done, and I did enjoy this one. Also, I think earlier in the day, well, earlier in this vlog, I mentioned that I wasn't sure if this was part of a series, but it definitely is. Inside it mentions the other books. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. I thought it was nice and fun and magical, and the world that they travelled to was really nice, and yeah, I enjoyed it. There was also a nice little moral in there about greed, but it wasn't like shoved down your throat or made as a big thing. It was just sort of incorporated in the main fantastical story. So yeah, I enjoyed it. And now I don't even need to pick up the last piece of paper because we all know what it is. It's Dave Pigeon. Bookshop mayhem. They're eating biscuits. It looks like a fun time, so yes. So there we go, last book, Dave Pigeon, Bookshop Mayhem, finished. This, yeah, it was just silly and fun, and it's quite funny because it started off these two pigeon characters talking about what book they should write for World Book Day, and I just thought that's funny because that's literally what this book is for. And they go into a bookshop and mayhem ensues, of course, that's what it says. And it was just a bit of a silly fun, and I did enjoy it. It was a good time. So those were all of my reads for World Book Day. I enjoyed the majority of them. There was only one that was a little bit disappointing, but all the rest I thought were really good, thoroughly entertaining. And also, I mean, I've literally given out my first 5-star of the year, and it's March, so can't complain really. So yeah, let me know down below any of your thoughts, opinions, what you did, what you wanted to do on World Book Day. Did you pick up any of the World Book Day books? If you're from other countries that also participate in this, what were some of your books that you could have? Because obviously these are the UK ones. Well, not even just the UK ones, because there's specific ones for Ireland and Wales, I think, that you can only get in them countries. So yeah, these were the ones you could just get in England. Let me know down below the books that you could get in your country, or if you picked any of these ones up, or just what you did for World Book Day. Just all that there. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you don't, then that's fine. And I shall see you in a few days with another video. Bye.